In this video, what we're going to be talking about is how to be more self-aware and become aware of things that we weren't necessarily conscious of before, because a lot of us are unconsciously absorbed in the thinking of our minds. And this is actually blocking us from being as self-aware as we could be, because when you're absorbed in the thinking of your mind unconsciously and absorbed in the past and the future and stuck in all these thought patterns and all these loops of thinking that repeat themselves every single day, there's not much room left for a lot of self-awareness there, because a lot of your awareness is just stuck in the thinking and you're doing it unconsciously. Because if you were actually to do this consciously and observe your thinking rather than be absorbed into it unconsciously, that's where you would actually have self-awareness. You would have awareness of the self and awareness of the thought patterns and awareness of the ego. In other words, the unconscious thought patterns, because the ego is just a word to represent the unconscious thought patterns that are going on in your head. And so when you actually do this consciously and you learn to observe your thinking, that is where true self-awareness actually comes from, which is going to inevitably connect you deeper into the moment as a result of that. So let me explain a little bit deeper. When I started meditating every single day over 3 years ago, what I learned to do was to be the observer of my thoughts rather than get sucked into my thinking. And so when I was to observe my thinking rather than get sucked into it, this is what gave me true self-awareness, because I was able to observe the thoughts that are going on in my head rather than to attach to them. And I started to become conscious of patterns that I was saying to myself, certain storyline that I was repeating to myself every single day about my self-image and who I am and who I think I am. And I started to become conscious of these thoughts that I was never conscious of before. I was able to actually observe those thoughts rather than be sucked into them. And so this is what gave me true self-awareness. And then as a result of that, of learning how to observe my thoughts, I also learned how to connect extremely deep into the present moment and disattach from my thinking, to see the beauty and to see the aliveness of every single moment that we always have access to. We just may necessarily not have access to it because we're so caught up in the thinking of our minds. So to have true self-awareness really is to learn how to be the observer of your thoughts and all the concepts and all the things that you're thinking about, and not be so absorbed into them unconsciously. Because there's a difference between being the neutral observer of the thinking that's going on versus getting absorbed into it without realizing it and interpreting reality through that place of, looking through the filter of your thinking. Because you can connect to the deepness and the aliveness of the moment and start to become more aware of things that you weren't necessarily aware of before, like what you're seeing, what you're hearing. There's always this beauty, this aliveness to the moment that it's just totally, there's no awareness there because we're so caught up in the thinking unconsciously. And so to have true self-awareness is to learn to connect deeper into the present moment and learn how to be the observer of your thoughts, not get attached to the thoughts. That is where true self-awareness comes from. And you can actually build self-awareness by also understanding that we have the ability to formally practice becoming more present to the moment. And what is becoming more present to the moment? It's having more awareness of the moment and learning how to keep your awareness there. So if I was to tell you to bring your awareness right now to the sensation of your breath, boom, you go straight into the moment. But then it doesn't take long before your awareness goes back into the thinking. And so to have self-awareness is to learn how to stay in the moment for longer periods of time, maybe in a formal practice like meditation. That's a great way to learn how to build self-awareness. Meditation is the greatest tool and the greatest habit that you can use to build more self-awareness in your life and connect deeper into the moment. And so you learn how to do this. You learn how to not get absorbed into the thinking and also connect more deeply into the moment and sustain and keep your awareness on the moment, and also stay the observer of your thinking. Because when you're not the observer of your thinking, what are you doing? You're absorbed in your thinking, which creates a lot of agitation, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry, a lot of impatience, a lot of dis-ease, which is a result of being unconsciously absorbed into the thinking. In other words, some people call this the ego. So that is how you build true self-awareness, learn to connect deeper into the moment. And if I was to give you a practical tool on how to actually apply something in your life to build more self-awareness, it would be to start a meditation habit every single day and learn how to observe your thoughts. Check out my video on how to meditate if you want to know a little bit more about that. If you like this kind of content, then consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell, because I post a video every single day. If you want to go a little bit deeper and learn how to stop being so absorbed in the content of your mind and connect deeper into the present moment, stop being so reactive, have more self-awareness, let go of the patterns that are blocking you from becoming who you're truly meant to be, and consider applying for a free consultation in the website in the description box below. Have yourself a great day and see you in the next video.